Phasian here, bringing you another episode of Know Your Ruling. And today I'm going to be doing an episode on the card Mind Crush, as well as the card Gemini Imps. So to start things off, Mind Crush reads, declare one card name. If that card is in your opponent's hand, they must discard all copies of that card from their hand to the graveyard. Otherwise, you discard one random card. So, to start things off, you must have at least one card in your hand to activate Mind Crush to begin with, because of the secondary effect. If you call it wrong, you have to discard one random card from your own hand. Now, another effect that a lot of people might not know is when you activate Mind Crush, you get to look at your opponent's hand to make sure they don't have any more copies of the card. So if I play Mind Crush and I call Gravekeeper Spy, my opponent must discard Gravekeeper Spy to the graveyard, and I get to look at their hand to make sure they have no other copies. Now, the exception to the ruling is if I call limited cards like Dark Hole. Say I call Dark Hole, since my opponent and I are only allowed to play one copy each in our deck, I do not get to look at their hand because it's public knowledge that you're only allowed one Dark Hole per deck. Another thing that people might not know, say I call Gravekeeper Spy, they discard two spies and say they already have a Gravekeeper Spy in the graveyard. So that means all three are known to the public, and I call Gravekeeper Spy. So I do not get to look at their hand because he discarded the two copies of Gravekeeper Spy from his hand, and he already had one engraved. So all the copies of the deck are out. So it's public knowledge that he should have no more in his deck nor hand. Now, I'm going to talk about the card Gemini Imps. Another debatable and controversial card at this time in the format, because there's been kind of a little flip-flops and ruling changes, and YCS Columbus, they declared the card ruling to be different. Now, the card Gemini Imps reads, when an card effect controlled by your opponent is activated, which would cause you to discard from your hand, by sending this card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation and the effect of that card and destroy it. Then draw one card. So, this past YCS at Kansas City, my good friend Courtney Waller, he was playing a Gravekeeper deck, playing against a Gravekeeper deck in one of the earlier rounds, and he discarded Gemini Imps to stop the card Royal Tribute. Now, most people would think this is common sense, it works and all. Same to discarding Gemini Imps to Mind Crush. Well, however, according to the new rulings, you cannot do that. And the reason being is that Royal Tribute and Mind Crush do not have a guarantee of discarding cards from your opponent. So, if I activate Mind Crush and I call Gravekeeper Spy, there is no guarantee my opponent has a Gravekeeper Spy in their hands, so I cannot chain Gemini Imps. Same goes with Royal Tribute. Now, Royal Tribute's a little bit different than Mind Crush, where you have to have Necro Valley on the field to activate it, and then both players discard all monsters from their hand. So, say you have Gemini Imps in your hand, and that's like the only monster you have in your hand, and your opponent activates Royal Tribute. You cannot chain the Gemini Imps because the game state does not know whether or not you have monster cards in your hand to discard, even though you may have that one Gemini Imps. So, the card ruling is a little different than you think. Gemini Imps is still a great card against the Dark Worlds because they have their effects where they're guaranteed to discard cards from your opponent's hand. But Royal Tribute, like again I said before, it does not guarantee that your opponent has a monster, and the game state does not know that at all. And it's kind of a weird ruling, but that's what they ruled at YCS Columbus. And I've done a lot of research on it already, and from all that I've seen so far has made me believe that this ruling is in fact true and verifiable. So if you guys have any questions, again, leave comments below, PM me, subscribe, and I'm more than willing to answer any card rulings that people have questions about. And tell all your friends about this video. I'm trying to get more likes and subscribers, trying to become more known. And that's about it, guys. So I'll see you guys around, and I'll bring another episode of Know Your Ruling. Thanks.